The Singapore Sports School, which has a number of current and former athletes participating at the SEA Games, has undergone a review. The aim? To become a National Sports Academy of Excellence by the end of the next decade. Channel NewsAsia understands the outcome of the review will be revealed after the SEA Games. In this week's Spotlight, Leong looks at some of the school's success stories and explores how it can do even better.
Jazril Tan was 12 when she began bowling, and it wasn't long before the Singapore Bowling Federation spotted her talent. But talent only got her so far at Methodist Girls' School.
Very proud to be from MGS, it's such a good school and all that, but it wasn't really helping me with my progress in bowling. I could barely go out to train with the national team back then, needless to say, for the tournament.
Tan was in secondary 3 when the Singapore Sports School was born. Her parents decided then that it was time for a change of environment.
The rest, as they say, is history. Tan graduated from the Singapore Sports School's Through Train program with the Auckland University of Technology, or AUT. She then earned a scholarship to study in the US, and it's there that she was voted Collegiate Bowler of the Year 3 times.
Tan was also Singapore's most successful athlete at the 2014 Asian Games after winning 4 medals, including gold in the women's team event. Now 26, Tan credits her time at the Singapore Sports School for her success.
The best thing that happened to me after going to sports school was I actually managed to train almost full-time with the national team and also compete with them in many overseas tournaments. And with that, 1 year I actually progressed a lot with my bowling, and I'm very thankful for that.
For selected elite student athletes, there's a further helping hand. The school within a school system allows elite student athletes to work their academic programs around their competition and training regime. National paddler Isabel Lee went through the system in secondary 3 and 4, which coincided with the build-up to the inaugural Youth Olympic Games in 2010.
To finish 2 years of work in maybe, let's say, 3 to 6 months, is actually a challenge. So they had to arrange for one-to-one lessons, or they had to do e-learning. So I was doing online learning when I was away in China for centralized training. Also, when we came back, we got to actually study at a pace that we were comfortable with. So it really helped for me.
Several developmental pathways are available for sports school students, designed to maximize academic and sporting potential. They can take the International Baccalaureate Diploma program, which accepted its first batch of student athletes last year. Students can also choose the usual GCE O-levels route, the same as what's offered at mainstream secondary schools. They can also opt for a Diploma in Sports and Leisure Management, a through-train program jointly offered by Republic Polytechnic. Because of Lee's training for the YOG, she wasn't able to prepare adequately for the O-levels. She took up the Diploma in Sports and Leisure Management.
I didn't have the privilege of getting to think about it. And when I make a decision, I don't think about what could have been. I just want to make the best out of it. I knew ultimately if you do well in Sports and Leisure Management in Poly, you still could further your studies in university, so it wasn't so much of a concern.
Earlier this year, Culture, Community and Youth Minister Lawrence Wong suggested that the school offer more pathways. These could soon be available for future students like Andy Wong. The primary 6 student at Maristella is a multiple award-winning paddler. He will enroll in the Singapore Sports School next year.
For RP, I did mention to Andy also. For example, if you were to follow this track on RP, I did mention there's still hope for him to pursue further studies. Of course, if there's more options, it will be better for them. But it will depend on how sports school judge law.
At the Singapore Sports School's 10th anniversary celebrations early last year, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong announced that the school will undergo a review to help it chart its future. He also challenged the school to become a National Sports Academy of Excellence in the next decade. a review committee was formed to look into ways students can continue to excel in both sports and studies. The committee was also tasked to study the methods employed by the best sports academies in the world. When it comes to the best sports schools, there are few better than Bowls, a private school in the US that runs one of the most prestigious athletics programs in the country. It has at least 9 Olympic medalists among its alumni, which includes Singapore's very own swim king, Joseph Schooling. And here's the beauty of Bowls. It has a system that ensures students excel in both studies and sports.
Some sort of academic benchmark will be shared every 4.5 weeks in all classes. If we're finding that a student is not being successful in those classes, it may be that the student's unable to participate in competitions for a 2.5-week period while we measure whether they can get that back in check and get back on track. It may be that a coach says at this point of our season, 2 days a week I'm going to allow that student to go to the library instead of practice, because we need that student to be caught up academically before they can be successful athletically.
For Andy, it doesn't look like this will be an issue. According to his father, the Maristella table tennis captain has been diligent in both his academic and sporting pursuits.
Andy won a table tennis tournament in March, and immediately after, the Singapore Sports School invited Andy and his parents for an open house and trial. Now, by the end of April, Andy had signed on the dotted line. So that gives you a sense of how quickly the Singapore Sports School works to acquire the very best talent available.
I will let him choose what he want and what he have in mind, rather than force him into academic, and then when he grown up, he will feel regret why my parents didn't let me go to the sports which I have a lot of passion in it. He did mention that he want to go as far as he can, so I give him my support, and I agreed and let him to go to sports schools.
By the time Andy graduates, he could very well join the Singapore Sports School's list of notable alumni, which include a President Scholar and 4 Olympians.